Evening. Thank you for joining us this evening, and please stand for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Let's start with the approval of minutes, which is 2.1. Motion approving the minutes from February 26, 2025, minutes of the regular meeting of the town board. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor? Oh, wait a minute. We need to poll. Steve, how do you vote?
I don't have a microphone, but I'll say it.
Oh, you guys have, I don't know what happened.
Microphone challenge tonight.
So how do you vote, Steve?
Aye.
Thank you. And Robert?
Aye.
Thank you. And I vote aye. And Glenn?
Aye.
Thank you. So the bid openings. So the uniform bids were open 3/5/25 at 2 p.m. in the town clerk's office. Town clerk Deborah Wallace opened the sealed bid. Water wastewater superintendent Scott Grotz was present. The first one was All Star Sports for Delphine Street, Owego, New York, 13827. Vestal Rail Trail Phase Number 3 bids were opened on 3/7/2025 at 2 p.m. in the town boardroom. Town clerk Deborah Wallace opened the sealed bids. The first one was LNT Construction, 145 Paddock Road, Richmondville, New York. And that was for $1,982,221.34. The second one was ZMK Construction, 3430 Route 434, Appalachian, New York, $1,700,000. And the third one was from Bothar Construction, 170 East Service Road, Binghamton, New York, $1,457,227.57. And the fourth one was from Broom Bituminous, I'm sure I'm right. Hopefully you got that. Products Incorporated, and that's PO Box 354, Vestal, New York. And that was $1,762,219. And the fifth one was from Herd Development, LLC. That's 22 North Brookside Avenue. And that's in Enwell, New York. And that was $1,359,834. Okay, we don't have any public hearings this evening. And I do have some updates. The first one, and we announced at the last set of meetings, is that we do have openings on the Board of Assessment Review. Now, the board does appoint new appointees, so we ask everybody who might be interested to please consider it. Let me go over so if you can, if you're thinking about it, you would need to be available May 1st until July 1st, Monday through Friday. You need to complete 3 hours of training. You need to be a Vestal resident, and you need to be present at all hearings barring emergency. And if you are interested, and I hope you are, then please email our HR person, Debbie Panisek. So her email is dpanisek, PANICEK @vestalny.gov. I do please encourage people to participate so that you can be a part of the process. Please, the deadline is Friday, so if you're considering, please email us sooner rather than later. The second thing we want to announce is our new website will be up and running next week. It will have an app on it. So the app will be available in both the Apple Store and the Google Store. And it's going to have a lot of different capabilities. It's going to be much more user-friendly. All of our department heads, department personnel that are handling it for the department, they've worked really hard on it. And it's still kind of a little bit of a work in progress, but they really have just made such an immense effort to make it better for all of our residents. They want to make sure that they can tell you the information that you need to know and give you an avenue in which you can contact them or us, and that it's everything on the website is easier to find. The website is user-friendly. It should be much easier to find everything. Also, the app has new capabilities. So if you sign up for the app, you will be able to sign up for push notifications. Now, you can sign up for whatever category you want. If you are a parent and you want to sign up for notifications from the recreation department, you can do that. If you're a resident and you want alerts on highway construction when they're doing the roads or anything like that, you can sign up for that. And our police department will have notifications as well. You can also sign up for the board meeting minutes. And I believe there's another category that I'm not thinking of right now. But please take a look at it. Please consider signing up for the push notifications. All of our personnel have done a great job in trying to address what they hear from residents. They really serve people well. And I can tell you that our water superintendent is out there when there's a water main break and he's knocking on doors and telling people. And when I spoke to him about the capability of being able to send out a notification to people, he was very happy because he wants to be able to tell people. He wants to be able to give them an alert. He wants that capability for as many people as are willing to accept it. Our people work very hard, and the ability to communicate better with all of you is really, really important to them. And it's important to us. So please consider signing up for it. Please take a look at it and consider it. You can always unsign up for it if you decide that you don't want it later. Okay, and that should be up and running full speed by next week. The other thing I want to mention is that our recreation director and personnel, says Patrick, Kelsey, and Dulcie, have been working on another resident request. So every year they have a father-daughter dance, and it's wonderful. It's absolutely a wonderful thing. I went this year, and the fathers and the daughters enjoy it, but the mothers wanted something as well. And so Patrick and Kelsey and Dulcie have been fielding out and trying to find a venue, and they're going to try to do a mother-daughter dance as well. So we hope that we can get it off the ground this year. I want to just let you know that they are putting their best effort into it. They don't have a set date yet, but they think they might have a venue. And for all the residents that are not interested in that, or your kids are all grown, and it's no longer something that your children will attend, these events do not cost the residents anything. So when we start with it, the cost that people pay to attend pays for the event. So it doesn't cost the taxpayers anything. And it's a very nice and great event for all that attend. So I want to thank them for their work and for trying so hard to listen to people. And we have on our agenda this evening the senior exemption. So this has been a long time coming, and it came from, again, our residents. So Mark and Colleen in our assessment department came to the board and asked that we consider modifying the senior exemption qualifications for a number of reasons. And so they explained why. They said basically some people were losing their qualification for the senior exemption because Social Security was giving a COLA for a number of years to keep up with the cost of living, but that brought their income above the maximum income, so they got taxes, unfortunately, back instead. So they lost their exemption. So some people lost their exemption because of the Social Security COLAs, and then other people were like just barely almost qualifying. And so in all of the discussions, number one, we understand that these are all our low-income seniors. And as we know, we are not generally a draw for people to retire because it's winter. We have bad winters and everything. Most of our seniors and retirees are people that have lived in Vestal for decades, if not their entire life. They have had their house, raised their family there, and paid their taxes for decades. and they're at the age where they're on a limited income and they simply wish to remain in their house. Now, the senior exemption helps them to do that. It is not a full exemption, but it does help. And for the people who really have to worry about money at the lowest income levels, it is hugely impactful. So what we're putting forward is to make a local, thanks to Dan, we are going to be advertising on the agenda tonight is to advertise for it. And then we're going to be voting on the next set of meetings, a local law. And the local law would increase the minimum income from the maximum income from 31,500 to 42,500. It also would exclude non-taxable income from the income qualification, and it would also exclude out-of-pocket medical expenses from the income qualifications. Now, please remember, these are our neighbors. They have raised their kids here, they have paid their taxes, and now they just need a little bit of a help. The maximum exemption is 50%. They still pay their taxes, but it just makes life easier and staying in their house more possible. So the income qualification has not been changed since 2009. And so it's a long time coming. So Mark and Colleen and the board have been talking for a while about this, and in premise, absolutely said, these are the people that need it the most. These are our neighbors. These are our family members. But we finally got it all together. We did all the research, and we are secure in the fact and moving forward that it'll be minimally impactful on our other residents, and will target the people who really could use the reduction in their property taxes. Now, unfortunately, I have to say too, despite everybody's efforts, board members' efforts, and also Mark and Colleen's efforts, it only applies to town taxes right now. That's all that we can control. We talked to the school. We asked them to join us in this effort. We talked to the county. But we will proceed forward because we can do what we can do, and we're going to do that. And we hope that they will join us afterwards. But so that is on the agenda for this evening and will be up for a vote next week. So with that, we're going to go to the first section, which is the public input section. Privilege of the floor. So this is the portion in which members of the public may ask a question or make a comment on agenda items only. Each speaker must wait to be recognized, only speak during the designated public comment section, state their name and address before speaking, speak at the podium, speak for no more than 3 minutes, only speak regarding town business, be brief and to the point, and address comments to the board only. Be respectful of all elected officials, town employees, members of the audience, and all other persons. In order to ensure an orderly, productive meeting, residents will be heard before non-residents. Speakers will speak in entirety, then will be addressed by the board. Okay, would any member of the public wish to speak? Thank you.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Andy Gow, 749 Main Street in Vestal. Maria, I read your email. Thank you for getting back to me. It was timely because I only sent it to you a short time ago.
Oh, I just tried to answer it there. I apologize.
Excuse me, I have a cough. I want to be very clear in my statements here that by no means, when I'm asking questions, does it mean that I'm against what you're proposing. I just want to add some thoughts to what you're doing. So if you change the threshold, you said it was, how much did you say the threshold was? Whether you were changing to the highest?
31,500 to 42.
We have employees that don't make that much money with a family. That's $20.43 an hour. We have employees that start less than that with families, with multiple kids. So that's a thought. That's what I guess what my question is how we came to decide that it was this group. You know, what methodology did we use to decide that maybe it was a single parent or a young parent with a young set of parents with a certain amount of kids, or this group or that group. It makes me very nervous for the past 15 months that we've heard every time is we're in dire straits. We have no money. We can't do this. And now we're actually offering a tax break. We've cut budgets. We've cut line items that I find that are extremely important to the town, and we've cut them completely due to the fact that we couldn't fund them. And now we're offering to cut more. So I'm concerned that if we cut and take away, if we take away those funds, something else has to go. You have to get it from someplace else because there's no more fluff. We all know that. We can all agree in this room that there's absolutely no more fluff. So if we give to one, it has to come from someplace else. And I would respectfully ask us to really consider, who is one hurting worse than the other? I'm not so sure about that. I think we need to think of everyone instead of making groups. I don't think it's overly fair to make groups, because I think you could walk right down to the street here at Clayton Ave School, where over 80% of the children there are eligible for free lunch and assistance with many other things. So it's hard for me to grasp the fact that we're picking out one specific group to give help to. So I think we should help all of our people. So thank you for listening, and I would respectfully ask that to be tabled and not voted on. I think some thought needs to be put in that. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So in my email, I told you we spent a lot of time, a lot of effort running the numbers. We're running the cost to everybody. Mark said, although we can't find a definitive cost because there's no data about senior income specifically in Vestal, or in general. It's extremely hard to come across any data whatsoever, but absolutely nothing specific to Vestal. So I went through the worst case scenario, because this is what, let's say, Mark believes that it won't be that many new applicants. Now, the senior exemption already exists. It is just a matter of some people being disqualified for it. So it's just ensuring that those people that are being disqualified are able to be qualified once again. And it will allow some people more to qualify it than before. Once again, maximum income has not been raised since 2009. And I also said that, yes, the budget does not get reduced. The tax levy stays the same. Is it readjusted a little bit? Yes, but it's an absolute minimum impact to any resident. And I go through all the numbers with you.
I read it. I appreciate that. I just wanted you to look at it from my point. That's all. All I was asking you to look at it from my point, because it's coming from someone.
Okay.
And those someone don't have a lot either.
No,
That's all I was
yes,
asking.
yes. Let me just address that. No, just to say, because we're helping one group of people doesn't mean we're not going to entertain something for somebody else. Okay. So going forward, but what we can do, we will. What we need to listen to, we will. But this came up because of immediate need. And because our personnel were literally hearing people who are in dire straits. And it minimally impactful. I just want to explain to everybody who aren't familiar with the program, is based on income. So if you qualify, doesn't mean you're exempt. It's a maximum 50% exemption, and that is only for the lowest income. If you qualify, but you're at the higher end of that income, it could be as little as 10% of reduction. So it's based on the income. So it's really only the lowest of the lowest have more of a reduction. But as with everything, we take one thing at a time, and we try to go forward in a way that's mindful of all of our residents. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't help some, because we don't have anything else in front of us at this point. So I'm sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to.
Oh, I was coughing. I don't have a mic, but you can hear me. Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Just to address one of your points that wasn't addressed, I guess. You're wondering why certain groups are selected for a tax exemption, why this board is considering picking a group, favoring a group over another group, such as mothers with children or some other classification. Pick one, right? This board didn't pick it. They didn't pick the group. There's a statute, a New York State statute. It's a New York State real property tax law. It was codified years ago. It sets forth exemptions that are permitted under New York State law. Your example of the lady that's burdened with a low income and kids and whatnot, they're not in the New York State statute for an allowable exemption. 467 of the New York State property tax law allows towns, counties, villages, cities, if they elect to provide a partial exemption to those people that are within their jurisdiction, that are at least 65 years old and income qualified. The town of Vestal, like many other towns and villages, did elect to do that years ago, and the most recent iteration of it was in 2000. It was about 25 years ago. The income limit was set at 31.5. So what is being presented to the board was essentially an adjustment, because today's dollars aren't the same as the dollars from 25 years ago. And it was prompted in part by the state legislature increasing the allowable exemption income thresholds. So that was adjusted on the state level, and it now allows towns to provide an exemption to the residents up to an income threshold of $50,000. What this board is considering now is whether or not they ought to make an incremental adjustment to at least bring the 31.5 up to the 42.5. And essentially it's just trying to update the local law that was passed many years ago. But you know, to your point, the only reason that this board can do that is because the state authorizes the specific group an exemption to the specific group. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I wasn't by any means trying to be negative on the subject. It makes me think sometimes that we have employees that don't even meet the threshold. That's why I brought it up. Thank you.
Does any other member of the public wish to speak on agenda items only? Okay, with that, we will move on. Thank you for to the resolution and motions. We don't have any this evening. And Public Works, Robert.
Request from Scott Rhodes, Water and Wastewater Superintendent, to award the bid for uniforms to single bidder, All Star Sports, for Delphine Street, Owego, New York, 13827.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And so, Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. And Robert, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And I vote aye. And Glenn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Sorry, we're polling everything now to make sure that, because when it's recorded, it's hard to document. So we don't, they have a hard enough job trying to get everything that we say. So, finance, we don't have anything under finance unless you do, Robert. Okay, and then personnel, Robert again.
10.1, authorization to advertise on March 19th, 2025 for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, March 26th, 2025. The public hearing is for proposed local law C of 2025, a local law to repeal a portion of local law 1 of the year 2023 of the Vestal Town Code pertaining to residency requirements for the Office of Comptroller.
Thank you. So do we have motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. And Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Robert, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And I vote aye. And Glenn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. So with that, it's unanimous. Okay, we move on to planning and zoning and Robert again.
11.1, request from Vern Myers, town engineer, for the town supervisor to sign supplemental consulting agreement number 2 with Bergman Associates regarding Bristol Rail Trail Phase 3. Under this agreement, Bergman Associates will provide construction phase services per NYS DOT requirements for this project. Federal funding is covering 80% of the cost. Bergman Associates fee of $330,000 is within the prior approved project funding limits.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. And Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Robert?
Aye.
Thank you. And I vote aye. And Glenn?
Aye.
Thank you. And with that, it's carried. And next one?
11.2, request from Vern Myers, town engineer, to award the contract with Hunt Engineers to provide asbestos assessment of the town hall facility to address NYS DOL violation.
Thank you. And do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. And Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Robert?
Aye.
Thank you. And I vote aye. And Glenn?
Aye.
Thank you. And it's carried unanimously. And the next one?
11.3, resolution to form an ad hoc committee for the purpose of preparing a report to the town board with recommended changes to the town of Vestal solar law.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And seconded?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. And Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Robert, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And I vote aye. And Glenn?
Aye.
Thank you. And it's passed and it's unanimous. Thank you. And public safety, we don't have anything. Administration. Robert?
13.1, authorization to advertise on March 19th, 2025 for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, March 26th, 2025. The public hearing is for proposed local law B of 2025, increasing the income threshold for the senior exemption. Man, I'm having a fun night. And excluding tax exempt Social Security and out-of-pocket medical expenses for the income calculation under RPTL section 467.
Thank you. I know one sentence. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. And Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Robert, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And I vote aye. And Glenn?
Aye.
Thank you. And it's carried unanimously. Okay, with that, we have the receive and file, which is warrants 2025, 10A, 10C, 10G, 10P. We also have a change of tenant, 1500 Vestal Parkway East. We have a town clerk's February monthly report and a liquor license for 3701 Vestal Parkway East. We don't have any petitions and protest. We don't have any old business. We don't have any other new business, but I do have some further announcements for tonight. Just a reminder that the winter parking rules are still in effect. They began on December 1st and will last through March 31st. And the parking of vehicles is prohibited on all town and county roads in Vestal between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. And as a reminder, because although we're enjoying some milder weather right now, you never know. And our plows need to get through overnight. So vendor registration is open for the 2025 Vestal Festival, which will be held on Saturday, June 7th. And if you'd like more information about it, or you're interested in being a vendor, please go to vestalrecreation.com. And the Vestal Youth Police Academy will be held Monday through Friday, July 7th to the 11th for middle school students, and July 14th to 25th for high school students. For an application, please contact SRO Tutkin at mtutkin@vestalny.gov or call 607-221-5493. All school districts are welcome. And I'll spell his last name. The email is tuetken@vestalny.gov, or you can go to the minutes to read it online. Okay, so did any committee chair have any other comments?
Just one.
Yes.
We do have the annual burn ban.
Yes.
So that is starting next week, March 16th through May 14th.
Thank you. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, so then we move on to the last public comment section. So this is a general comment section in which any member of the public can make a comment on any other town topic. Each speaker must wait to be recognized, only speak during the designated public comment section, state their name and address before speaking, speak at the podium, speak for no more than 3 minutes, only speak regarding town business, be brief and to the point, address comments to the board only, be respectful of all elected officials, town employees, members of the audience, and all other persons. And in order to ensure an orderly, productive meeting, residents will be heard before non-residents. Speakers will speak in entirely, then will be addressed by the board. So does any resident wish to speak? Okay. Did you want to speak or? Okay, just please come up to the podium.
Excuse me. John Phillip, 308 Magnolia Drive, Weston. I have been trying so hard for the last few years to lower my assessment, obviously hand in hand with the taxes. And I have been denied for 16 years in a row. This is unheard of in the United States. I qualify for the exemption because I'm in a lower income bracket, and the state clearly states that the assessor has to do the adjustments accordingly, taking into account the lower income by not taxing the Social Security, which in this case has not been taxable because of the Social Security rules. So I'm asking that the board does, if we call it an exception to the rule, because neither March 1st, the tax status date, nor April 15, which is the next year taxes, are going to matter one way or another. And I deserve it. I qualify for it. I provided my 1040 form to the assessor, same with the 467 worksheet. So he has all the numbers. And by refusing that, he is breaking the law. And I guess I should bring into the picture the fact that for the last 2 years, he's been calling me to tell me to sell, because you're going to make a lot of money. I'm not here to sell my property. I'm here to demand for my right to be given a tax exempt. And then when the lawsuit came into the picture, Sue, his deputy, said, well, just sue us. So I care very much for Vestal. I've been here for almost 40 years now. And something has to be done. So I don't feel robbed and cheated by something which is really illegal. That's all I have to say. And hopefully the board will reach to the right decision. Thank you.
As I said before, we're moving forward with the senior exemption. We're in discussions with the assessor as to the timetable on but the new application deadline has passed. But this all came about because they came to us, Mark and Colleen, because they had meetings with individual residents and they wanted to help. And when the board heard the particulars, we wanted to help too, because we know the income adjustments have not been made since 2009 and needed to be, because residents are getting disqualified. And then there are a number of residents right on the brink of it. And it's a hardship for them. So the sooner the better. We'll do what we can, but we'll talk with Mark about what can be done. So with that, does any other resident or non-resident wish to speak? Okay, with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And I guess we can do this one simply, right? Are we all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, everybody answered aye. So we're in. Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Mhm.
Aye.
Steven, yeah. Yeah, how are you? Good. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Of course, yeah, thank you. Awesome. Hey, Dan.
The state says there has to be March first. We tried to get it changed.
They also have the April 15th.
No, only for renewals. We called the state.
Yeah.
The state said renewals only.
I am the cakes and it has been right here. That's a long, 2 years ago.
We tried. We really did. We called the state. We tried to get it honed. They said absolutely not. We have to follow the law.